Hello? Hello? Shit. There we go. Hey guys, it's Nano Plays Games, aka MPG. I'm here at this dumb job because YouTube ain't paying the bills. Anyway, it's kinda boring, but it has some cool animatronics, so I thought I might as well make a video for you guys to help pass the time. Boys in this chair. This design is a bit off-putting, sure, but other than that, he's pretty similar compared to literally any other animatronic. Everyone knows Five Nights at Freddy's. It's become a significant part of pop culture, as it not only tells a tale of perseverance and dedication from a lone game dev, but is unique and insanely imitated in horror media. It's been known to terrify audiences either with its jump scares or eerie ambience, and brought forth some pretty memorable moments that go down in history.
Was that the bite of 87?
But the most striking thing about it are its antagonistically distinct and well-designed animatronics, creepy enough to make you want to projectile shit yourself. Could you imagine working in one of the Fazbear Entertainment locations as a security guard and having to survive each night with these monsters, each night becoming more perilous than the last? I totally wanna... Well, I can't say it on YouTube, but I'm not gonna survive, and it won't be due to the animatronics, let's just say that. The animatronics throughout the games are very intricately designed to appeal to children but unnerve adults, not to mention they all behave differently compared to one another. So, in preparation for the FNAF 2 movie coming out in a few days, today we'll be channeling that bone-rattling feeling and ranking the FNAF animatronics, specifically the ones from 2, from least to most scary. We're gonna break this ranking down into 4 tiers. Not scary tier, more creepy than scary tier, terrifying tier, and I'd piss myself tier. I'm gonna primarily be judging them based on their design, but I'll be considering their AI quirks and behavior too. I know I'm like 11 years late, but I'm setting out to do all the videos 10-year-old me would have wanted to do. Okay, enough yapping. Let's start our shift.
Oh, we're doing it again. We got the Raising Cane's and we got Gil.
The first tier is the not scary tier, a place for animatronics who are completely fucking worthless and can get their ass folded like a lawn chair. I think we all know who's on this list. Obviously Balloon Boy is in this tier. His design is a bit off-putting, sure, but other than that he's pretty tame compared to literally any other animatronic in this game. The scariest thing he does is that if you're not paying attention to him at all, because why would you, he messes with your flashlight and leaves you open to being attacked by Foxy. You know, an animatronic that can actually kill you. Balloon Boy is actually kinda scary, just a little. Knowing that if you're not attentive enough, he can come and basically screw your night by taking away something you need is nerve-wracking. Whatever, he's still not going any higher than this. The second tier is the more creepy than scary tier, where animatronics turn into more of a threat but are more eerie than anything else. Still scary though. First up in this tier is Toy Chica. You know why she's here. Her design is, stimulating? Maybe she's scary to a lot of people because she makes it hard to pay attention to the game. Not sure if Scott making her curvy was on purpose, but she's definitely the least scary looking animatronic next to Balloon Boy. On a more serious note though, shit gets real when that beak comes off and her endoskeleton eyes are revealed. Of course the beak being removed makes her look more human, but I always found this version of her scarier. The inside of her mouth is a lot more visible, and honestly, the more of the interior I see, the more uneasy I get. Her entire design is bright and friendly, so seeing her change almost as soon as she comes off stage, and so drastically at that. It's not the worst, but it's definitely creepy. She hunts just like Toy Bonnie, crawling in vents and stopping by your office to pay a little visit. Seeing her in the vent, at least the first couple of times around, is enough to rearrange anyone's guts, and not in the fun way. She's less threatening than her withered counterpart though, as it's simple enough to just put the Freddy head on and get her to go away. Not too bad. Next up is Toy Bonnie. Fun fact, Toy Bonnie has always kinda scared me, even as a kid. I remember watching a YouTuber play FNAF 2 for the first time, and when I first saw him in the vent, my heart stopped. Of course, gameplay-wise he's not bad, literally just Toy Chica and can be deterred fairly easily, but his design is very... something. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. He's just insanely unnerving to look at, especially if you catch him on the cams. He always manages to make direct eye contact with you at all times, like he wants to whoop your ass. Like we see them. Funny story. I played FNAF 2 years after my FNAF phase, just for this video's sake. I forgot a lot of the weird shit the animatronics do, and I let the toy Bonnie jump scaring me just by looking into a camera. Made me feel like a total puss, by the way. The way he stalks the halls, always perfectly aligned for anyone watching the camera to do a double take is... I don't know. I've just always been kind of put off by him, but compared to his withered counterpart, he's soft as baby shit. Last in this tier was a bit of a surprise even to me. Withered Foxy is one of the more aggressive animatronics and requires you to pay close attention to him, lest you want him to tackle you from 50 feet away. Seeing him standing at the end of the hallway is definitely pretty scary, especially when there's a million other things for you to worry about. Keeping track of how much you use your flashlight can get pretty stressful, but despite the massive priority that takes, that's all you really have to do. And honestly, his design isn't so bad. I actually think it's really cool to look at, and isn't nearly as terrifying as the rest of his withered crew. But he is still pretty aggressive, so I wouldn't say that to his face. Our third tier is the terrifying tier, where animatronics actually start to get pretty imposing, and I honestly should have considered being homeless before I stepped foot in this goddamn pizzeria. First up is Toy Freddy. Similar to Toy Chica and Bonnie, the thing I find creepy about him is the subversion of expectations. There's just something about his chubby cheeks and friendly smile that screams evil to me, and I don't like it. He's not all that different visually, with his cute appearance conflicting with his aggressiveness, and he's not even that scary. Until he's too close for comfort, that is. There's just something about him looming over the player, his head tilted with curiosity, and his eyes completely black that freaks me out. A lot. Animatronics that can mess with their eyes are always scarier than the others. Almost always, anyway. I heard something about their eyes rolling back, signifying that they're in a hostile phase, so this definitely does no favors for my nerves. His AI is also different from Toy Chica and Bonnie, whereas with them, you can get them to go away and have some time to react. Toy Freddy, on the other hand, appears on the other side of the hallway and gets ever closer, inch by inch until he's right in front of you. With him and some of the other animatronics, a reaction time is essential if you want to avoid death. All I know is that it's pretty scary to suddenly be looking at the cameras and have it immediately pulled down by a 7-foot killing machine. Like, oh, I'm done for, right? His jump scare animation is also pretty funky, like in the most terrifying way possible. It's even more unnerving when something wearing a friendly smile that doesn't quite meet its eyes wants to fuck you up. So yeah, he's not the scariest, but still not something I'd want to encounter in the middle of the night. His out-of-commission counterpart Withered Freddy only beats him by a hair, and for similar reasons. Now, I gotta be honest, Withered Freddy got that shit on. He's definitely the least affected withered animatronic, but that doesn't make him harmless, whether that be by appearance or AI. He's absolutely filthy and torn by neglect, which offers another layer of horror to me. His jaws are a lot larger than Toy Freddy's, thus he looks a lot more menacing standing at the end of the hallway. Unfortunately, he doesn't always stand that far away, so it's not until he gets closer that you realize how much you previously underestimated him. His eyes are unfocused, and when he finally approaches you, one arm is outstretched, almost like he knows you're not an animatronic. Again, he's just like his toy counterpart, where he gets closer and closer until he's suddenly right in front of you. It's very unsettling and definitely a visual representation of, yeah, you're not getting paid enough. Next up is Golden Freddy. First things first, I know we all make jokes about him, but if I saw this nigga sprawled out like that at 2 AM, I might just insta-die. It's funny that he doesn't even have to really do anything but sit down, and he's somehow higher on the list than other animatronics that actually move around. Sometimes small quirks in a design add up and begin to turn terrifying. For example, his teeth appear dark and gray, almost like they're decaying. He has a torn ear, his wires are all out of place, with a few hanging out of his empty eye socket like an optic nerve. Despite him looking like Withered Freddy, it's these things that make him so much scarier, even if he's only a bit higher than him in this tier. He also affects gameplay in ways both terrifying and unpredictable, especially if it's your first time playing or you haven't played in a hot minute. Like me! When his head appears in the hallway, you can't flash your light down there and kinda have to stop whatever else you're doing other than winding the music box. If he appears in your office, you basically have no time at all to put on your Freddy mask to avoid biting the dust. Like, what do you mean I have half a second to react to him when he's in front of me? Night 6 is a nightmare, not just due to him and how easily he can kill you, but having to deal with him on top of all the other animatronics. I could not do this job. My kids would just have to go hungry, not gonna lie. He may not crash your game like he did in FNAF 1, but it's still gonna be a hard no from me. Moving on, next in this tier is Withered Bonnie. Now, having his face completely removed might make him sound less scary. On paper. I mean, the other animatronics I listed all have facial features that make them as creepy as they are, so surely Bonnie having no face is a good thing, right? Hell no. Sometimes nothing is more than something, and in this case, that nothing is everything. Did that make sense? Anyway, like I said before, the more teeth I see, the more scared I get, and his eyes, or lack thereof, are scary as hell. Imagine it being super dark and 2 red dots are all you see before you perish. The pieces of his endoskeleton that are exposed make him look sharp, like he can easily bludgeon or impale. And judging by how Bonnie is typically referred to as one of the most aggressive animatronics, that isn't good. The wires hanging out of his shoulder like exposed nerves are a nice touch. Personally, I love pieces of the human body you're not really supposed to see in the animatronics. It's positively horrifying. Onto his AI though, just like Withered Chica, you can see him in the vents, but you'll never see them peek their heads out like their toy counterparts. They're in the vents 1 second and in your face the next, again requiring the utmost reaction time from the player. Again, gonna be a hell no from me. This tier is for animatronics I actively avoid as much as I can, and I would absolutely never go near if I had a choice. And yes, I'm using the word piss as an alternative for another 4-letter word. Maybe my first entry is a bit surprising, but I've always been kinda spooked by the marionette. Okay, not kinda spooked, seriously spooked. I used to collect creepy Victorian dolls, and this thing appalls me. First off, it's much thinner and linkier compared to the rest of the animatronics, not to mention it lacks vibrant colors and overall just looks uninviting. It has black eyes you can't see inside of unless it kills you, and its purple tears definitely add some fright to its design. My thing is, would children even like this thing, or were 80s kids just a special breed? Even as a child and having no context that its calmer body's in a frat boy, I think I'd want to stay as far away from it as possible. Either way, I think the scariest thing about its design is that you should never really see it unless you're about to die. Bad connotation and all that. Speaking of which, the mechanic for the marionette is nerve-wracking and adds to the already copious amounts of dread you might already feel. Preventing every animatronic and their mother from killing you is a task in itself, but dedicating time checking the cams to wind the music box can be a real night ender. The music box unwinds faster as the week goes by, so good luck. Next up is Mangle. I'ma be honest, I'd be mad as fuck if that were my name. That's like being ugly and getting called chopped. Which is my everyday life, by the way. Anyway, Mangle is a lot. She's a combination of 2 things I'm very unnerved by. Overly exposed endoskeleton and a cutie face with vibrant, excitable colors. She looks totally cursed and is the best representation of the bone-chilling contrast between cute and scary features. Can you imagine this thing, completely dismantled and damaged, making its way over to your office? Yeah, I can't either, not without a drink. Her mouth is forever open, as if she's waiting for a chance to take a chunk out of your cranium. Which she totally does, by the way. One of her eyes is black, maybe representing how differently she acts compared to most other animatronics. For instance, she's always crawling around, hanging into ceilings, and just doing entirely too much. It's one thing for animatronics to slowly walk their way to your office, but there's something much creepier about her hanging upside down, almost like what she's doing as a game. Similar to both versions of Bonnie and Chica, plus Balloon Boy I guess, she crawls into your vents and waits for the perfect moment to move. You can usually tell she's peeking her head out of the vent just by the radio static that can be heard, which is alarming to say the least. She's also one of the only animatronics that can hang around your office when she gets in, basically dooming you in a way that's not ideal. It's one thing to get screwed over by one animatronic, but knowing that you'll die if you raise your monitor to check cams and die if you don't is another thing entirely. Definitely hopeless and eerie enough for me to put her this high. Last but definitely not least, the scariest animatronic in FNAF 2, in my opinion, is Withered Chica. Her design is by far the scariest in the game, and it's really no competition. Her mouth being that wide and permanently agape is I don't know. I feel like she'd crack my skull open and suck my brain out with a straw like a coconut. Too much? Seriously speaking, I really don't like how many rows of teeth she has. No one could need that many, right? Her eyes are white as hell and look absolutely possessed. It's the most terrifying thing ever. The claws on her feet are super sharp. Her hands are ripped off, exposing wires, parts of her endoskeleton are exposed. It's just a lot. She's like finding that one toy you used to play with, dirty, with its limbs torn off and covered in brown sticky shit. In every way, design, color, and behavior, Withered Chica is extremely hard to ignore. Like, seeing her in the vent is the scariest shit ever if you don't get your big scary ass out of there. Actually, as soon as she leaves the parts and service room, I start shaking in my boots. She behaves just like Withered Bonnie, holding out in the vent and then suddenly appearing before you. When she posts up in front of me, it's pretty hard for me to think about anything else. But to be fair, I've always been kinda scared of Chica, so her being this high on the list is no surprise. And that's it, folks. Every active FNAF 2 animatronic ranked from least to most scary. I hope you enjoyed passing the time just as much as I did. Or you know, more. And what are your predictions for the FNAF 2 movie? If you're watching this video after watching the movie, let me know your thoughts on the movie animatronics and how they compare to the ones in the game. As always, make sure to like and sub, it helps a lot. This is MPG, it's been fun. Peace!